Hi and welcome to the DP World Tours Life on Tour podcast. I'm your host, Ewan Porter, and we have a very special episode today, not one, but two guests, and they've taken the golf world by storm over the last 12 months. They know each other pretty well too. Nicolai and Rasmus Højgaard, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, it's been just over a month since the final event of 2021, the DP World Tour Championship. What have you been up to over the Christmas break and the holiday period?
We haven't been up too much lately. We've been taking some time off, been on a vacation in Dubai afterwards, the DP World, so it's been good. We haven't had that much vacation the last few years, so it's been nice, relaxing a little bit, and now we're starting getting back to work.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think I've heard that you moved into the same apartment block. Is that right? Recently, are you in the same apartment together?
Not quite. No, we both moved out early in December, but not in the same apartment block. We live in 500 meters from each other, so still very close.
Yeah, and you said you're just getting back into the swing of things now and a little bit of practice. How is it there this time of year in Denmark with the rather harsh climate and the colder conditions? Have you got somewhere that you can practice, a good indoor facility to get ready for the season?
Yeah, we have. We started out practicing a little bit outdoor when it wasn't too cold, but then obviously it was very, very cold during Christmas, so we went indoor and just started hitting into a net, which is not that much fun, but it is very much necessary to do. So we've been practicing a little bit indoor just to keep ourselves active, if you can say that.
Well, 2 months between the final event of 2021 in Dubai and then the start of the 2022 season in Abu Dhabi. Do you plan on going out there a little bit early to start preparing and get the game sharp?
Yeah, we're actually flying tomorrow. So we have 2 weeks in Dubai to practice, and we are really looking forward to get out now and start practicing properly again and putting in the hours and getting ready for the 2022 season.
Nice. Well, let's go back to the start like we do with most of our guests on here. Born in 2001. At what age did the pair of you start getting into the game of golf, and was pursuing golf difficult for you as a child in Denmark, given that it can be pretty cold in the winter?
So I think the first time we were introduced to golf, we were probably 4 or 5 years old. Our dad brought us to the golf course. We shared a little golf bag with 3 clubs in, and just started hitting balls on the range, and that was basically the first time, and that just happened more often. And I think when we got to about, I want to say 8 or 9 years old, we became a member of the club and then started to take lessons and all that. But at the same time, we were playing all kinds of sports, handball, football, everything, and so it wasn't golf right from the start, but I think when we got to about 11, 12 years old, we could see that we were probably better than average. And then we started to play more and more and more, but we would still have handball as our winter sport, just to have that sort of team environment as well, which is something that we still miss to this day. But so we had the golf as the summer sport and handball as the winter sport, but obviously that changed a few years later when we had to choose the sport.
Was there anything about the team sport that correlated to your golf? Anything there that you were able to use positively in your individual golf careers?
Yeah, so we had a really good handball coach who was quite hard and paced us a little bit, and then you start to build up probably like a mental, I don't know, toughness or whatever. But there's some parts you can use in your golf as well, and you're starting to build up your own team as well. You got your coaches, you got your family and our friends around you, so you're in a team environment. It's not totally the same because you're not competing with them, but you're in a team environment, and so there's some small bits that's similar, so we can use from handball, but we're really missing the competitiveness and small fights and handball as a team.
not too many fights out on the golf course, or not that I hope anyway. But Rasmus, you mentioned that you were about 11 or 12 years old when you started to realise that you were better than average. So that would have been about 2012, 2013. Now, around that point, I know that Thomas Bjorn was still thriving on the world stage, and you had Thorbjorn Olesen around that point that started to make a real impact on tour. But around then, it was really only those two on the global stage. But since then, the last few years, there's been a multitude of Danish tour winners and tour stars in both the men's and women's games. What has it been specifically in the last few years that's enabled that to happen?
That's a good question. I think for us, we became a part of the national team back in 2015, and then really got into that whole that elite environment, learning how to practice properly, how to travel and everything, just trying to prepare for when you turn professional. And I think that helped us quite a lot. We're still using the same coaches from back then. So I definitely think that the national team has helped us quite a lot to develop us to become a very good player. And that I don't really have the answer for why the success has been so good the last few years, but I think talking for both of us, I think that's been a big help.
It's a small country with not many golfers, and then again, we all know each other. It's quite motivating when you know each other and somebody's got success, and we're all part of a national team. So we actually been on practice camps, all the players who's been playing really good these last few years. So it's just motivating seeing each other perform well, and then obviously it comes down to starting young in the home clubs and the national team and all that environment, building up to one day turning professional. But I guess that's my take on it.
How intense was the rivalry between you two growing up?
It was very intense, and it was basically in everything, even from school to sport, and who could run fastest to the car going out from a supermarket and stuff. So yeah, it was quite intense, and there were some moments where it was tough, especially for our parents, because if we were playing an event and one of us won and the other one finished maybe third or something, they didn't know if they had to celebrate with the guy who won or actually feel sorry for the other one. So they were always in between. But that's something we've learned over time now, that we can accept that and actually be happy for each other.
Your parents golfers?
Yeah. Our dad plays quite a bit of golf. Almost plays more golf than me and Ras. So he's a golf maniac, but that's good. He loves it, and he loves spending time with us on the golf course. And he's the one who paced us when we were younger, which we can see was probably a good idea back then, because there were so many things going on with other sports. But he probably could see that it was golf, and then he started pacing us. So we are actually quite happy that he did that back then. But yeah, he plays loads of golf all the time.
Well, no doubt both your parents very proud of you. In 2018, you were both a member of the winning World Amateur Team Championship squad in Ireland. There's been some tremendous names that have helped their nations win that trophy over the years, and the Denmark side beat home the US side, which was led by Colin Morikawa by one shot. That must have been a fantastic week, and obviously a brilliant way to cap off your amateur careers.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't really know what to expect coming into that event, because at that time we haven't played that many big events around in Europe or in the US, so we wasn't quite sure how good the strength of field was. So we were just actually just played the Made in Denmark in Silkeborg, the European Tour event, and then going straight to Eisenhower. So we just got there, practiced and played a little bit, saw a couple of good names, obviously, but wasn't quite sure what the winner score would be. How much do we what do we need to do? And obviously we had a third player in the team, John, who was on college at that time, so he obviously knew that there was a lot of very good players there. But yeah, it was quite fun how the week developed.
Well, I imagine you mentioned your teammate John was in college at the time in the US, I'm assuming you're referring to, and you both turned pro at the age of 18. Was college ever an option, or you knew you were going to turn professional after that event in Ireland?
I think we both maybe wanted to go to college, but we didn't like school, and we decided to drop out of school very early. So everyone's listening, stay in school.
At least you're honest.
It wasn't for us, and we were spending so much time playing golf and doing something that we liked, and we got to a point where we just couldn't be in school enough and keep up with the other ones and all the homework, and we just decided that if one day golf doesn't work, we can always go back to getting something of an education. But for now, we're very happy that we decided to drop out of school and focus on golf. And
yeah, it's been a great decision to this point. Well, you turned pro in 2019, and Rasmus, you endured some heartbreak really at the end of the year, finishing 21st on the Challenge Tour rankings, missing automatic promotion to the main tour by just the one spot. And Nico, you played 7 DP World Tour events and had that memorable runner-up finish at the KLM Open to Sergio Garcia. What a way to really begin your professional career. It must have been an amazing week.
Yeah, it was really special. I haven't played that. I didn't play that good in 19. I was playing some third tour, third level. It was that Echo Tour event, and just had used all my stars in the Challenge Tour, so I didn't really have that much left of the season. And then Duncan got me an invite for KLM, and I just played in. Fun story. I just played in the Pro-Am on the Monday, and he called me around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and said if I wanted to play, and I said of course I want to play. And traveled out Tuesday morning. Didn't practice all 18 holes. Couldn't practice hole number 18 because there was Pro-Ams going on and all that. So not the proper preparation. And I could just see the weeks going on and went on. Suddenly you're in the mix, and yeah, it's hard to put into words because I haven't been close to doing something like that before. But it was quite fun. It was quite interesting that it was Sergio coming down the stretch.
Was it not daunting at all because you hadn't been in that position before?
It probably was a little bit, but I was playing really good, and at that time I don't really think it would mean that much if it was Sergio or who else. It was just playing my golf, and it's just special when it's Sergio because he's such I would call him a legend in the game, and he's someone we all probably look up to. He's inspiration golf-wise and all that. So, and he seems like a good dude as well. So it's just special coming down the stretch that it was him you're battling with, and then hopefully we get a few more chances in the future.
I'm sure you will. And Rasmus, you went from heartbreak to jubilation in the matter of weeks because you finished 5th at the qualifying school to earn your playing rights on the DP World Tour for the 2020 season. How were you able to turn that around so quickly? Because you must have been pretty distraught not getting your card off the Challenge Tour.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a really good season there on the Challenge Tour. The goal was never to finish top 15. It was just to get my Challenge Tour card for 2020. But I finished second in my first invite on the Challenge Tour, and from there on I could see I probably almost got my card there. So now I can just keep chucking in events and see how far I can get, and then finishing. I was obviously inside the top 15 for a very long time during that season, and then dropped out in the second half. But that was just pressure for me. I was probably too caught up that I could get on the DP World Tour. So I didn't play that great in the end, but then still had a good season, and I was still excited to go to the Q School, have a chance straight into the final stage, and then got off a good start. Just stayed patiently, and then it got me that card in the end, which gave me a few starts at the end of the year then.
Yeah, well, it was straight after that you went down to Mauritius and defeated Antoine Rosner and Renato Paratore in a playoff. I mean, that was only your fourth career start on the DP World Tour. I mean, you must have, did you exceed your own expectations by winning, or was the momentum just still rolling from Q School?
No, I wasn't expecting that at all. I just played at Leopard Creek the week before, my first event as a member, and I had a good week. Didn't have a good result, but I enjoyed it very much. And so we went to Mauritius there and just said, well, it's last event of the year. I've had a really good year. Let's just see how good we can finish it. And got off to a good start and just kept building on that. And then, going out in the last round, 2 shots behind, starting birdie eagle and suddenly leading by 2 shots. That was, from there on, I felt the pressure straight away. I also managed to make 2 bogeys straight away after that, just to get back to reality. But then, from there on, I just tried to not get too caught up in the end result or whatever. So I just tried to hit greens or make birdies or whatever, and then suddenly I'm in a playoff. And I don't know if it's a fun story or cool story or whatever, but I've told it a few times now. Coming down the 72nd hole, I hit it in the fairway, and when I stood over that second shot, looking up before I pulled the trigger, the only thing I can see is just the water on the left and that terrible bunker on the right. I only see problems. I was so nervous, and I didn't put a good swing on that. I thinned it up to the front part of the green, which I was happy with. And two good putts from there, got in the playoff. But once I was in the playoff, I hit good drives on every playoff hole. And every time I had my approach shot, the only thing I could see was kind of the green and the flag. I didn't pay attention to the water or the bunker, which was strange because 30 minutes before that I could only see problems, and that was a bit of a shock for me. But it was kind of a cool moment as well, just being so focused. And I guess that's why I could hit such a good shot into the green and set up an eagle chance.
I think you went birdie eagle for the 3 holes in the playoff, didn't you? Do you think that I guess you could say mental flaw or whatever you want to call it on the 72nd hole where you only saw the water in the bunker, do you feel like you may have gotten that out of your system and got away with it? So when you came to the playoff, you knew it could only improve from there?
Yeah, probably. I just tried to say to myself again, kind of what I did to the Q School as well. Look, I've had a good year. I don't really have anything to lose. That's what I was trying to tell myself before the playoff. And then I don't know if that got me to a point where I could just swing 3 or free. But then, but it's hard to explain because that was such a weird situation.
Yeah. Well, look, you both obviously had fantastic opening 12 months of your professional careers. 2020 was quite a contrast, though, because Rasmus, you went on to win your second DP World Tour title at the ISPS Honda UK Championship. But Nico, 2020 was a bit of a struggle. You finished 206th in the Race to Dubai standings. Did the pandemic and the season stoppage, did that contribute to feeling perhaps a little uneasy out there on tour?
I would say I actually felt quite comfortable playing out there. The problem was probably that the only way everything could change was with a win. So instead of focusing on getting better and trying to improve, the only focus was to win all the time. So I've learned a lot from that. And I think that was the main thing in 2020. Probably stressing a little bit regarding Ras' situation as well. That I wanted to get out there and win as fast as possible. And I had a good chance back in 19, but that was as a non-member and all that. So it wasn't really... You're always trying to win, but sometimes you're probably not expecting to be in the mix. And I was just caught up with trying to get that win all the time, and I was, first of all, I wasn't playing that well, and I played too many events in a row as well, so the body was probably not fully resting as well. So I learned a lot from 2020, and which led to a good meeting in the end of 2020, start of 2021 with the team, and trying to put things down on a paper, trying to build a good plan and what to focus on in 2021. And
well, 2020 was a very, very difficult year for everyone, as we all know. But having your brother out there, Nico, how important was it having Rasmus out there to, I'm not going to say to have a shoulder to cry on, but someone to talk to when you were struggling so much? Because Rasmus was obviously doing well, notching up that second win. Was it instrumental in having his support and his belief out there alongside you?
Yeah, it was good. We always enjoy each other's company, and we could learn a lot from each other. And obviously, I drew some inspiration and motivation from Ras' success in 19 and 20 as well. But then again, at that time, I probably wasn't mature enough to use it as a positive all the time, and that probably stressed me a little bit as well. But we can always talk with each other about if anyone is struggling, always having a brother out on tour, we can always find someone or look to someone, or just, we don't even have to talk. I can see him on the range, and he's here, and we always got a friend for whatever situation. So that's the good part of it, and I can't really find any negative about it anymore.
So how was it then at the beginning of 2021 when you didn't see your brother down in the end of the range? Because Rasmus, you were beginning your season in the Rolex Series events and WGCs, and Nico, you didn't begin your season until later on in March in Kenya. So how was that dynamic then? I guess more so for you, Nico, when you were not playing and watching Rasmus out there and certainly getting an opportunity to get off and get a bit of a head start on the season.
Yeah, it was... for sure, I wanted to play the same events. That's what we're trying to do: play the big events, play together in the big events. And again, I used it as a big motivation and inspiration in 2021 to say that I'm not gonna stay here. I want to get out there as well. And obviously, I had a bad start again for the 2021 season in Kenya. But after that, we started really doing some good work, and from there on, we actually switched the mentality a little bit about trying to get better every day, and that's been the key part since April. That the focus is trying to get better every day, trying to get 1% better instead of focusing on results and where you want to play, thinking about the future, but stay present and trying to get better all the time. And that's been the main focus. And suddenly sometimes it just changes a little bit, and it makes golf a little bit easier, thinking that way and not stressing about if you make a bad result or whatever. But if you feel like you can see in stats as well that something is improving, then it gives you a little bit of calmness to keep grinding, and that's been the big change.
Rasmus, you had a really solid start to 2021, 2 top 10s in your first 3 events, but then you endured somewhat of a lull really right up until a top 3 finish in August at the Kazoo Open in Wales. Was there any specific reason for that lean patch? Were you working on anything in particular in your game?
Not really. Again, as I did in 2020, I had a spell where I was too much caught up in, I was pretty high up on the world rankings. I can get close to top 50, or I'm high up on the race to Dubai or whatever. So it's I think obviously coming from a good start there with a couple of top 10s, got into the WGC and that, I didn't really how would I say that focus on the right things. I think I forgot a little bit about what got me to the point where I can perform, and that's having a clear mind of just stay present, not get too ahead of yourself. And I didn't really do that, so I got into a bad habit, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And it took me a long time to kind of realize the situation, but got it in the end. Sat down with the team, and we kind of went through the big, or the bit of the negative side of things, and that kind of cleared it all out, and then said, all right, from now on we got to do this and that, and then that helped me a little bit to get on the right path again. But I think that's very important. It's just many of the big players say that as well. Just you got to stay present and not get ahead of yourself, because that's just that can destroy the whole momentum and confidence. And that's what it did for me there.
It can be a metaphor for life in general as well. I think we could all use that philosophy. I referenced that top 3 in Wales, and it was your following event. You captured your 3rd DP World Tour title at the Omega European Masters in France. Obviously, winning such a prestigious event at such an iconic location must have been very, very special for you.
Yeah, it was very cool. Obviously, coming off a top 3 there in, I think it was a London club. I didn't play great up until that, but I think that was the turning point there. Being in contention, feel that rush again, and then got home, had a week off where I could build on that, and then going to Gran. It was cool. Some views at that place, but it was obviously a bit of a backdoor win. I didn't expect it, to be fair. I just went out and tried to set up as many birdie chances there on that final round, and then in the end I was standing with a trophy, which I couldn't believe at that time. But that's what happens once in a while. I think you just gotta make that birdie on 18 to put some pressure on, and I did that. So that was a cool week.
It certainly was, and it got even better because the following week at the Italian Open, Nico, you claimed your first DP World Tour victory, holding off Tommy Fleetwood down the stretch, and created history by becoming the first set of twins to win in back-to-back weeks on any major professional tour around the world. I guess first question, how did it feel to get that monkey off your back and get that first win, which you'd strived so hard for?
It was special. It was a very nice feeling, different one compared to amateur events and all that. But it's still the same rush, but this one was just more of a breathe out kind of thing, more than just celebrating. Also because probably on the 18th hole, someone was fucking breathing in my neck down the stretch all the time, and so it was nice capping it off with a birdie on 18. But it was just more of a got that one over the line, and now the real work starts. And yeah, it was so nice getting it done, and ever since it's been a bit more what do you call it? Not relaxing, but it's more of a not that much stress regarding what I'm gonna play and all that. So it's been good. It was nice. I can say nice 100 times, but yeah, it was special.
Well, the Marco Simone Golf Club there, just outside of Rome, it was pretty new to the majority of players, and the eyes of the golf world were on that event that week, in particular because it's going to be hosting the Ryder Cup next year. So you obviously took quite a shining to it.
Hopefully, we would love to play the Ryder Cup, but there's a long time to it, and there's a lot of work we need to do, and I believe we can get to the team, and but as I said, there's a lot of work to be done, and we can't wait for the next year.
Well, the media and the golf public went crazy for what you achieved those 2 weeks. I mean, it's quite phenomenal to think that you did win in back-to-back weeks. I mean, just getting any victory out on the DP World Tour is hard enough, but to do it in back-to-back weeks, did the two of you realize just how historic that achievement was? Did it take a while to sink in?
I think it took a while. We were just very, very happy in the moment. I was especially very, very happy for Nicolai in Italy. I got to walk around the back nine to see him play. And I think the camera saw that as well. But it was very, very cool. Nicolai hasn't been there for any of my wins, so for me to be there to see him win was very cool. But yeah, I think when we got back after Wentworth, sat down at home with our family, I think it was there where it really struck us at how big of an achievement it actually was. So yeah, it was. Looking at it now, it's quite cool.
I was going to say, what was the reaction from the players?
Yeah, but a lot of players came over and said how cool it was. Had a few texts as well, and they were probably almost more excited than we were.
They were happy that they can say congratulations to one of us now and not be scared if it's the wrong one. Because after Switzerland, I don't know, 10 players came up to me, congratulations. And it was Rasmus' win. And the following week, at Wentworth, some players came up to Ras, so I think they're happy that they're not scared of saying congratulations to the wrong one.
Well, look, the Højgaard name has been on the golf radar for many years now, and even though you'd both had phenomenal achievements prior to those back-to-back victories in those back-to-back weeks, was it around that point after Italy and certainly around the BMW PGA there that you felt like you'd both arrived? And what was the reaction from, I guess, the public in Denmark? Did you receive a lot of attention back home for it?
Yeah, it was quite a bit attention back home in Denmark. Every time when there's a player who wins on the ladies tour or men's tour, it gets big attention in Denmark, and this one was quite special. I feel like it's when I looked at it and saw what people was writing and all that, because it was back-to-back weeks, but we weren't really thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it until I was asked, actually, in the interview afterwards, because it's not something that we really focus on, but certainly it's quite special when somebody tells you that it was back-to-back. And in Denmark it was exploding a little bit, and I don't know what to say. It's special, and it's pretty cool that we are the first one to do it, and hopefully we'll do it again.
Well, it's quite interesting that as I sit here talking to the two of you, your current world rankings are both around the 90, somewhere in the 90s mark. But just before we started recording here, I was chatting to your manager, Duncan, and he said it's actually quite interesting because the two of them have never really played well at exactly the same time, yet you sit here in a very similar position in your careers, winners on tour and same status, same sort of world rankings. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, when are you going to play well together? What tournament have you sort of picked out that, it's going to be head-to-head down the stretch, the Højgaard twins?
It'll be pretty cool. Hopefully do it at the Made in Denmark.
Yeah, I guess it would be quite a party. Well, let's talk a little about life on tour. When the two of you are playing the same event, what's a typical week look like for you out there? Are you rooming together, eating together, practicing together? Does it sort of mirror what you do at home?
It's very unusual that we are rooming together, just because if we have different tea times and stuff, it's gonna mess up the other one's sleep. So we usually just stay in different rooms, but we will always meet up for dinner in the evening, even breakfast sometimes. And then we probably always play practice rounds together as well. So we just never losing sight of each other, basically.
Oh, look, there's a growing crop of emerging young talent now on the DP World Tour. You've obviously got yourselves, my countryman, Min Woo Lee, Sean Crocker, Sam Horsfield, etc. There's a lot of young guys coming through now. It must be very enjoyable for you to have people around the same age with the same interests traveling week in, week out on tour. It must have certainly made the transition for you in the first couple of years out there a little bit easier.
It has. It's a bunch of good guys, the young ones out there, and we're enjoying spending time with them. And so it's fun when there's guys similar age and similar hobbies as well, playing the same place. So it's just enjoyable because you can go out for dinner and trying to get new relations, new friends, instead of just keep meeting Raz all the time. But because when one of us is not there playing the tournament, when you need someone else to spend time with as well, and there's a lot of good friends and good people out there to spend time with. So it is enjoyable with young players as well.
Well, Nico, you recently featured in the Hero World Challenge and broke a Guinness World Record for the fastest hole played by a team of 4. It was quite incredible. It was something like 28 seconds or 27 seconds, something ridiculous. But one, how was it breaking a world record? And 2, also featuring in the world famous DP World Tour creative content team.
It was quite fun. It was fun watching the other ones break the record. I was just holding a flag stick, but anyway, it was fun being part of it. Watching the other ones, it was we thought we could do it, but you never know. But it was time. We timed it pretty good, and Wilco hit a good drive. Sean was quite fast to pull the trigger on the fairway, and then Min hit a good putt, and then suddenly you break the record, and it was fun being part of, and knowing that all four of us would be in the Guinness book now, which everyone have been reading when we were younger, and seeing all those weird world records. So that's pretty special, even though I didn't do much effort in the try, I guess.
You're a part of it, mate. Not many people can say they're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
I'm always saying that I was moral support or water boy, whatever, but it was fun.
You're a part of the squad. All right, what's the plans for 2022? How's the schedule shaping up after the Middle East?
We're not sure after the Middle East yet. We've planned out to play all 4 events: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, and Qatar. And then from there on, we will see what's on the schedule. I know there is an event in India and probably a few events in South Africa, but we haven't really got to that point yet to see where we want to play. I think we want to see how we do in the Middle East and then take it from there.
We got some events planned in the middle of the season and the end of the season. It's just that start of the season now is not sure yet because of playing those 4 in the Middle East, and if we perform well, some doors opens.
It'll be your first time, Nico, starting the season in the Middle East, so you must be pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been on a few practice camps now in Dubai, and I really enjoy playing down there. So I'm really looking forward to start the season in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, the 2 Rolex events. So I can't wait to get out and start practicing and get into tournament mode again.
Well, I know we briefly touched upon it before, but it would be remiss of me not to ask you about the Ryder Cup in 2023, because we just watched a European side in 2021 pretty much get dominated by the US on US soil, and obviously you'll have home ground advantage next time, but there seems to be a bit of a thought process right now that it's going to be a much younger European side that takes to the course in 2023. So that must be for both of you a huge goal. It must be right at the top of the list.
100%. It's up there for sure. I mean, we would love to play a foursome together in the Ryder Cup. And again, it's just very, very motivating to see or to hear that there talks about, a younger team coming in now, or there is a lot of younger players now who's just on the limit, and Yeah, we're just very motivated and excited about that we could potentially have a chance to get in that team. So that would be very, very cool.
Well, look, I want to thank you both for coming on the podcast today. I'm sure I can speak on behalf of golf fans around the world that we look forward to following your progress for many, many years to come. And it's great to see what a terrific bond that the two of you have. I know brothers can tend to fight quite a bit and have their disagreements. You two seem to be very, very close. It's great to see. And once again, thank you and good luck for 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
To watch another DP World Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.